And we do have, of course, as we kick things off, Member of Parliament for Chaguanas East, Ms. Vandana Mohit. Pleasant good evening and welcome to The Observer.
Pleasant good evening, Mikey. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, so much happening. Of course, we are in a political climate, but one of the things that came out from Monday night's UNC meeting is that you spoke about what was taking place with many of your constituents. And of course, according to the Minister of National Security, Cunupia, which of course that falls in your area, was among the communities which saw an increase of home invasions from 5% last year to 12% this year. And of course, it remains very concerned. He said he remains very concerned about this intrusion. The thing about it is that, I mean, these statistics have been out for a while. We've seen the trend. Is anything being done at this time that you could say that you've seen some changes taking place?
I can say that I'm seeing no changes. It remains one of the greatest concerns here in Chaguanas East and that community of Cunupia. It's every other day that something is happening there as it relates to home invasion. The attack on pensioners now, it's real, right? The attack on the communities, in not just one community in Cunupia, all the communities in Cunupia, it's real, it's happening. And I have been asking, you have the statistics, you know what's happening, you know that there was an increase, you know that it is continuing to increase. What are you doing? I have been asking since last year for increased police patrols, at least to be a deterrent. Still none of that. The police vehicles are lacking within the community of Chaguanas, and that is a huge issue right now, lack of resources. So I will say nothing is being done about it still.
Yeah, and I mean, basically what we're seeing is that senior citizens have now become soft targets. I mean, they're afraid to come out of their homes, they're afraid to go about and run errands and what have you. I mean, what's the kind of feedback you're getting from the residents in these areas?
Residents are fed up. Residents are looking to pack up and leave this country. People, for example, you had that robbery in that home invasion, early morning home invasion in Emmanuel Trace. You have businesses running there. Persons are worried now to even operate their businesses. You had that big issue where a resident actually allegedly shot an invader, right, with her husband's licensed firearm. Now, these are the type of things you see happening when citizens are fed up and they have no choice but to remain prepared for persons who may invade their homes. And it's because of the lack of any type of action by those in charge. I am trying as an MP. I am trying to have neighborhood watch groups as much as I can. We have them. But what's happening as it relates to the Minister of National Security? Apart from Cunupia, which we are speaking of right now, the enterprise community been lobbying for a police post at the African ground, right, where lots of murders have been happening. Still no response from the Minister of National Security. So my question is, what will happen next for them to actually act? The worst have happened already.
Yeah, I mean, basically, the fact of the matter that this data exists and there's been such an increase, I think your question is basically, what is the next step? What is the plan that the Minister of National Security and those who, of course, would have some interest in this, what is the next plan or step as far as providing security for people in these areas?
Well, I have asked that question many times. What is next? Now that you have the data, you have the statistics, what is next? That answer has not been forthcoming.
And let's get to the core of something here, because, I mean, it's been bandied about for quite some time, and people are saying, listen, it's no longer something that is of a myth. And we're talking about geographical discrimination. Is it that for whatever reason, places such as Chaguanas and those in the central areas are simply not looked upon by this government as a responsibility that they have to secure not just security, but as far as infrastructure, dealing with flooding or any emergency that would arise? Do you ever get that kind of perception?
Yes, I get that perception, one. But two, I think that they just don't do their jobs. They just simply do not do their jobs. Because a constituency like Chaguanas East, for example, it's not just a UNC constituency. It's a marginal constituency, so you will never want to leave it unattended to in any case. So it's simply a fact that they are not doing their jobs. You are writing, you are requesting, you are pleading with them, you are asking them. They are giving responses and they are not living up to their responses.
And so when your constituents come to your office, and of course, as I said, we're in the middle of the election climate, what is the most, besides crime, I mean, what is the other issues that they would come to you and discuss and say, listen, this can be fixed, that can be dealt with? And have you made any sort of approach to try to reach those responsible for making it happen? And if so, have you been getting the assistance that is required to make it a reality?
Well, the truth and the facts are that every issue that constituents come to me with, whether it be traffic, whether it be infrastructure, whether it be social issues, national security issues, sporting issues, any type of assistance or issue persons come to me for and with, I try my best to assist, whether it be from the government or otherwise. Yes, I can tell you that I keep on track with everything. I write my letters, I write for follow-up, and I get responses, yes. Sometimes when the situation becomes out of hand and they have no choice but to deal with it, then they deal with it. But I can tell you from my office, I ensure that whatever councillors come to me with as well, I make sure I put in that representation for my people. Whether it be I have to do it on my own through the support of corporate sponsors, I try my best to do it.
And how is the current political campaign? I mean, how is it coming along? I mean, I know you're out there, you're on the road, you're doing the walkabouts, but has anything jumped out at you to say, like, listen, this is something different? As far as August 14, are you seeing, as far as a change in the atmosphere of the people, as making it seem as though this August 14 means more than just a local government election?
Of course, persons are saying that this election means more than a local government election. People of this area, meaning the Chaguanas area, not just my constituency, they are saying it's time for a change. They need to send a message. They are fed up. They are tired. They are living in what we call jails because they have to do so much to protect their premises. They are suffering because the only person who provide any sort of help to them, it's us, the UNC. But when you go for any type of assistance, they have a huge office in Central at Chrissy Terrace Corner, right? I can give you an example, Mikey. They have done self-help applications at that office. Imagine that. Not at the self-help office, but at the PNM office. They have done applications for self-help. And persons have to come to me to say they applied there and what to do. So it's like they now realize or recognize that these people needed help. Matters that I wrote to agencies and ministries for. Candidates are going on site. Candidates stating that they would have liaised with the ministry and they are getting the job done. But the truth and the facts of the matter remain that the MP would have done her job, or the official councillors at the time who hold offices based on election would have done their job to request continuously, right? But because it's an election campaign, you are seeing now PNM candidates claiming jobs, and I'm wondering what's happening here. But people are looking at that, and they are seeing how things are running in this country under this government. And I am telling you, it will not be accepted, and persons are very upset about it. But what I can say to you is that on August 14th, all of our candidates are receiving a lot of love. People are appreciating their work. All of our candidates are on the ground doing work. Yes, the corporation did not have sufficient resources to attend to all of their needs, but our candidates are out and about. Cleanup campaigns, drainage cleanups, different types of things happening. Assistance to persons. We had Justin Stewart, who helped a young lady. She did not rely on us to help her with her school books. But what she did, she's a young budding baker, and she had a cake sale to purchase her books, which Justin assisted her with everything for that sale. So our candidates are looking at how to improve and transform lives, and they are working very hard, and I'm very confident they will win on August 14th.
Wonderful. And I mean, like, again, so much is happening in the of course, the borough, and so much is taking place, especially now in the heights of what's happening as far as a political campaign. But this thing about local government reform, and I mean, we've spoken about it here many times on The Observer, and many people have weighed in on it. I mean, this is something that basically can be dealt with. The bill has passed. Are people buying into the fact that this is about reform, or is it the fact that a government that had to be told by the courts to actually carry out this election because it was democratically needed or rightfully had to do so?
I think the PNM is bankrupt when it comes to ideas. I think that they are using reform, yet another fake campaign on reform. We have heard this in previous elections. I mean, I ran for local government election before. You heard the PNM campaign on reform for like 3 to 4 consecutive elections. And, you know, people are yet to see what reform will do to improve their lives. Nobody ever said it's bad. Nobody ever said you don't need to really transform local government institutions. But the point about it is, you are saying reform. The Minister of Local Government faced an issue in San Fernando. How he knew to go get a excavator the next morning. Yet you are saying to the people that reform is the right choice, but corporations don't have proper equipment. They're not getting the finances to repair equipment. You're putting it in black and white allocation, but not giving it to them in releases. If you get what I'm saying.
Right.
So how is reform the right choice when it's not dealing with garbage issues? When it's not dealing with repairs of equipment to clean people's drains, to take materials to location, to patch roads, all of these different things, and you are saying it's the right choice.
Yeah,
It's yet another fake campaign on local government reform, I would say.
Yeah, and I think there are folks who are weighing in and saying, listen, it just doesn't add up. I mean, we know quite well that this election was carded for December, according to the Minister of Local Government, Faris Alwari. So it was something that was not in the planning for the current administration. Now we're hearing reform. What is it really about? And that's why people moving out and about have been telling us that they believe this is basically about property tax and the fact that the courts had to decide, listen, this election has to be called. Now you have some great candidates, I believe. Perhaps you want to shout out to some of them and have your closing statement. Go right ahead.
Of course, but before I go, I want to say, based on what you just mentioned, if the PNM is telling the communities reform is the right choice, they are basically telling you property tax is the right choice. And that is something we need to tell the people of Trinidad and Tobago. We have great candidates here in Chaguanas. We have youthful candidates. We have candidates who are experienced in the job market as well. And it's a mixture of youth and experience. And what I can tell you is they are all of them, they are not just looking after their district. They are meeting, they are working together in the interest of the people of Chaguanas, and they are not even elected. And I'm so proud of them with that, and I'm telling you that I have confidence in them, and I'm sure they are going to win. They are working very hard, and I'm asking the people to give the young blood a chance, give those with experience, you know, the opportunity to serve you, and I'm sure you'll have a greater Chaguanas.
All right. Thank you so much again for linking with us here, and we'll be checking in with you periodically, and best of luck to you and your entire team.
Thank you so much for having us. We really do appreciate this forum.
Thank you so much. Yes.